Hi friends, I hope everyone is doing well. Today we have a requested video on how to alter bleeding tissue paper. I really appreciate this video suggestion from Ultraviolet. It's a fun technique that I love doing and sharing. First off, it probably goes without saying, but I want to mention that you need tissue paper that is labeled bleeding tissue paper. Regular tissue paper won't work since we want the dye that colors the tissue paper to run. You'll also need a spray bottle. The dye on the bleeding tissue paper is activated by water. I like using a small bottle. It helps me from overwatering the tissue paper. If you put too much water on the tissue paper, this technique won't work. The dye will be too diluted and won't create the desired effect. It's definitely a trial and error type of technique, and to be honest, I don't always get good results. I just try again. Also, this technique is messy. Make sure you're doing it on top of a drop cloth or something to protect your surface. Okay, with all that said, let's get started. I like putting the tissue paper on blank paper, so when you're altering the tissue paper, you can stain the paper underneath. I like using regular copy paper or 80-pound drawing paper. Both of those papers seem to work well for me. And here's some examples of what the stained papers look like. This one is the 80-pound drawing paper, so I stained on this side, then I flipped it over, then I put more tissue paper on it and stained this other side. Same here with this one. And this is copy paper. And this one, these two, excuse me, I just put it on one side, the tissue paper, and I wet it, and it seemed to leak through nicely on the other side, so I didn't have to do the same process to the other side, and it worked well. So I just kind of want to mention that. It might be something to try as well. So let's start by cutting or tearing the tissue paper. Personally, I like tearing the tissue paper. I like the torn edge instead of a straight edge. But if you're more comfortable cutting, definitely bring out your scissors and cut them. I also like to overlap different colors of the tissue paper on top of each other. You get more variation of colors, which is nice. You can always use just a single color piece as well. So we'll do that on this page. Then this one, we'll do some overlap. Let me show you this one first. Let me bring you in a bit closer. So I find it's best to spritz a little bit of water, then add more if needed. So your gauge will be, you can start seeing the dye run. So let's do just a little spritz, just like that. You can see that the tissue paper is being activated, so I'm not going to water this area right in here. This looks like it needs some more, so I'm just going to spritz. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. You can see that the green is starting to run. I don't see it with the light blue, so let me give that another spritz. There you go. You start seeing it there. Let me do some more on the edges. And then that's it. I'm going to leave it alone. And here with the orange, you see it working here and in this area there. But I'm going to spritz some more in the outlining areas. So the best thing to do is just let the tissue paper dry completely before touching it. You'll see that the green dye is running now into the orange. That's what you want to see. That's the effect you want. And it's happening a little bit here. I don't see it so much on this end, but I know that this green is dyeing this blue paper underneath, because the blue is running over here, and here, as you can see, the orange running. But this area right here, I think I'm going to spritz that just lightly, just like that. The tissue paper is really taking to the water. You can see all the areas where it's puddling and running and kind of beating up. It's really looking good. Even over here in the orange, I don't know if you can see that. See this area and this area down in here? That looks good. Still not completely dry. Okay, let's gently move this piece out of the way and we'll do the other one. So this is the one that we're just using the same colors. And again, let me get it, spritz it lightly. I'm going to spritz up here. And then let's let it sit for a little bit. You can see the tissue paper starting to run, and I'm going to spritz this area because it looks a bit dry. That's it. Then over in this area looks dry. Down here, here, here. Try a little bit up in this area, along that edge. We can see the dye starting to run here. This is the copy paper, by the way. You can see it there and a little up there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let it sit for a couple minutes, and I'm going to come back and see if I need to add more water. It's been a couple minutes, and I think I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to add any more water. And we're just going to let this dry as well. So I'm going to put it off to the side and let it dry. I'm going to do one more while we're at it, so let me get set up. For this one, I'm going to overlap the tissue paper even more to see if we can get some more variety in the color. So I'm going to put it, say, right on top like that. So I'm going to put this one over here, and I'm going to see. Let's see what happens. So again, just going to lightly spritz. And this is copy paper, by the way. Okay, I'm going to let this sit for a little bit and come back to see if I need to spritz any more water. It's been a few minutes, and I see a couple areas where I need to add some water. See this area in here? It doesn't even look like it's touched with water. So I'm going to spritz it like that. That might have been too much, but we'll leave that alone. This area down in here. A little bit up here. And then this area right here. This area right here, because it's not touching, this blue tissue paper is not touching the pink. So let me spritz it. And I think I'm going to leave this alone because I may have overwatered some of the areas, but I'm going to leave it as is, let it dry, and then we'll come back. It's been about 19 minutes, and all the papers, the tissue paper and the paper underneath is dry. So let's take a look to see how the tissue paper came up. So I'm going to try to get you in closer so you can see the gradation of colors. And then let me lift that off. And you'll see the staining in this one. This one has some really nice staining. Let's see if I can, let's see what we can do to This one does as well. Look at this right in here. Very nice. You see a little bit of the light blue. Here's the light blue. You can see some good variation. I love these watermarks. And you see some of the green. That's nice. Let's see. This is beautiful. And it's very subtle. I don't know if it's picking it up, but there's some nice variation of light and dark and some veining. This one's light as well, but you can see some veining. Let me show you. Right in here, it's beautiful. Then a light hint right there of green. This is the paper underneath, and this is 80-pound paper, so it doesn't really show up on the other side, so I'll probably come back and dye the other side. But this is nice. Look at this. This would be nice for a journal or collaging. So that's that one. Now this is just the green. And let me see here. That's beautiful. You can see the light areas and some dark. Let's see if you can see that. Nice big piece. And this is the copy paper. This is nice. Look at all that. Then you get some on the back because it's such a thin piece of paper. And here's the third one that I decided to try. I wanted to try one that has more variation of colors. So let me try this one first. So you get the pink and the purple. This is beautiful watermarks and the veining. This one's beautiful as well. A bit of a hard edge, but that's okay. And this was copy paper as well. So this is the front side and then the back side. So I think it turned out really good this session. Definitely some tissue papers and papers that I can use on other projects. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding this technique or if you've tried this technique. I'd like to hear from you. Again, I wanted to mention this is definitely a trial and error technique. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't work out the first time. If you have any suggestions for videos, please let me know in the comment section. I'm open to trying different things that you want to see. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye now.